I had to quit school and go to work. So I thought that was the end of my vocation. I was 15 at that time, 15 or 16. So I went to work. I worked in different places. And I had different friends, boyfriends, and I went out, had good times. It was jolly and cheerful. And I forgot about my vocation. But then I always had in the back of my mind, my mother used to say to me, what has to be yours will be yours.
Well, I don't think I dreamed of it at all when I was young. I just was quite prayerful, and I loved Mass, and was very enthused when I got my first prayer book and was able to follow the Mass. And after my first Holy Communion, I just felt like religion was very important to me. If there was anything I heard about sisters, I thought they were all one group. I thought they were all the same bunch. I didn't know there were different communities. And like I say, I had gone to movies that portrayed sisters in a very good light, you know, like Bells of St. Mary and St. Francis Story and other movies, Going My Way. And I was very attracted to that kind of life. I thought, gee, they're really very virtuous people and so on. And I was very attracted to the vocation of a sister. Sometimes I had read also in Reader's Digest, I think, or one of the digests, that sisters had helped during the war on the battlefield as nurses. And I thought, my, they really go into a lot of kind of sacrificial work, you know. And that's what, and with those two sisters that I had seen, it was a funny thing that attracted me, because we were poor in those days, you know. We didn't throw things away that you had to kind of mend things and so on. We kind of recycled things even then. So this sister, she had her sleeve bent up like that, you know, and when you bend your sleeves that way, it rubs and wears a hole there. So she had this very neatly mended, and I must have had very good vision because I noticed this mending. I thought, gee, they mend their clothes just like I do.
I always wanted to be a sister. Yeah.
Even from a young girl.
When I was just a little kid yet, I used to dress up as a sister.
I was 22 years old. It took me a long time to decide. My oldest sister, she was very interested in the sisterhood, and she wanted me to enter. And every time we went to Mundare and we saw the sisters, I wouldn't even look at them, because I didn't want any kind of temptation to enter them. So I just threw it out of my mind. But actually I kept praying so God would take away that temptation to enter. But it kept coming back, and very, very strongly. And the more I prayed against it, the stronger it came back. And even I used to like a good time. So even on the dance floor, I'd all of a sudden get this crazy, empty feeling. So what? So what's that going to lead you to? I just felt miserable. So in those moments, I would say, okay, Jesus, I'll go. Somehow I talked to Jesus like that. And so I'm still here. And I just, every day I think of it, I just thank God that He didn't listen to my stupidity. Otherwise, I would have missed this whole thing. And I know I would have been miserable out in the world.
Did you always want to become a sister? You always wanted?
Yes, I was 7 years old.
Since you were 7 years old?
Yeah, I always said I would be a sister. And we used to dress like sisters.
Did you?
At home.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. When I was 6 years old.
Really?
Sister Noel, my cousin, was to see my mother and dad. And I promised them that I'm going to be a sister. But later on, no, nothing was coming. So she writes a letter to my mother and she says, what happened to Anne? You know, how come she's not entering? Sister Fatinia entered, but I didn't. Not at that time yet. And I wrote to Sister Fatinia and I said, I find school very hard. And she says, why don't you enter? Our mother would be so happy to have us two in the community. So I decided and I entered January 17th, 1947. No one knew. It was just a sudden thing with me afterwards. I just made up my mind I was going to go. So. My brother got married November 10th in 1946. I came home for the wedding. I didn't tell my parents a thing what I wanted to do. I wrote a letter home from Yorkton that I want to enter. And my dad came right away. He went to the fathers and he begged the fathers to make me stay back to finish my school. And I cried and cried and cried and I said, no, I want to go right now, you know. So he couldn't convince me. So after Christmas, I was home a little bit that time and I just said, I'm going like on the 17th. But it was just something like I made up my mind, like no one told me. Dad wanted to stop me to finish school, but that was it. My dad said, it's going to be hard. And I said, I know, but I didn't know anything. But you know how you answer, I know.
Did you always want to become a sister?
Pardon?
Did you always want to become a sister?
Yeah.
You did? As a young girl?
As a young girl.
Did you? Oh.
Mm-hmm.